Welcome to the Unsung Photographer.
Hey there, boys and girls. How you doing? It's Bob Kearns, the Unsung Photographer. And I got a conversation with a friend of mine, Renee from Denmark. Gave me a call, and we were talking about doing something in the community, and he suggested that we get a group of folks together and each of us take one part of the exposure triangle and try and explain it for folks and make it simple. So I thought I would give shutter speed a try. So I'm going to introduce you to a buddy of mine. This is officially Shutter Monkey. I've used Shutter Monkey in a lot of demos in my live classes, and it's a pretty good way to demonstrate what shutter speed is going to do for you and what it's not. I have that trusty old DSLR set up here. I have it in shutter priority, so the camera will automatically balance the other two factors on the triangle. At least I hope so. And we're going to go ahead and show you the difference shutter speed, the effect it has on your photographs. But let me explain one thing to you. Shutter speed isn't always just the speed of the shutter. What shutter speed is how long your sensor is exposed to light. That's pretty simple. And when we get into the world of flash, you're going to find out that that is a distinct difference. It's not just the opening of your shutter, it's how long your sensor is exposed to light. And no matter what, that particular amount of time is going to have similar effects on your photograph as it would if you were shooting in constant light with just turning your shutter speed up and down. Okay. So let's have a quick look. Right now, where are we set? 500th of a second. And let's see what Mr. Shutter Monkey here is going to do for us. We're going to give him a little swing. And we're going to take a picture. So what's Mr. Shutter Monkey look like? Well, Mr. Shutter Monkey looks pretty solid. He looks like we've frozen the action at 500th of a second. That's not a problem. Let's try this again. Let's turn this down a little. Let's go to 200th of a second. Well, let's make it 250 because 250 is exactly half of 500. And when you cut the light in half, that means you've cut the light down by one stop. Remember, the term stop of light simply means either double or half. So if you have twice the light, that's one more stop. If you have half the light, that's one less stop. So it's always double. Okay, so let's give Monkey a little more energy here. Hey, buddy. Make sure I got him. There he is. Does he look very much different? Is he sharper? Is he blurrier? What do you think? Well, it's probably not too much of a difference, but you may be starting to notice a little softness around the edges. Okay, let's do this again. Let's cut it in half one more time. Let's go down to 1/125th of a second, which is half of 250, which is one stop. All right, let's give the monkey some energy. Lazy monkey. I don't have any bananas. Now we're down to 1/125th of the second. Look at the edges. They start to see a little more softness. But nothing really significant, just a little more softness, just a touch of a sense of motion. All right, so let's go down here. So 1/125th, what's a half of that? Well, the closest we can get on a typical SLR or DSLR camera is 1/60th of a second, right? Because that's twice 60 is 120. It should be 62 and a half, but we don't have that setting. So now we're down to a 60th of a second. So let's give that a click and have another picture of Mr. Monkey. All right. Let's look at the edges again. Even slightly more motion. It's a little gradual. One more time. Half of a 60th of a second. 30th of a second. It's twice as long, right? We're either doubling the light or cutting the light in half. Right now, the camera is making up the difference for those changes automatically. The computer is making some adjustments. I have the exposure compensation turned up a bit because of a white board back here. And what happens when you shoot white? The computer always wants to make it neutral gray, so we have to add a little exposure compensation, about 1 full stop. And how much is a stop? Twice the light, or half. All right, 30th of a second. Let's swing Mr. Monkey. Now we should start seeing some significant blur around the edges. You can really get a sense of motion now, though he's still pretty clear. One more time. 15th of a second. And we're going to give him that same little shot of energy. And now we're at 15th of a second, and let's just go right ahead. Okay. Mr. Monkey is pretty blurry. Let's really go crazy here. Let's go all the way down to 4 seconds. Whoa. And let's get Mr. Monkey moving. And let's take another picture of Mr. Monkey. 1001, 1002, 1003. Okay. And look, what do we see? We don't see anything. Why don't we see anything? Mr. Monkey was there. The picture was taken, the shutter opened and closed. It was open for 4 seconds, and Mr. Monkey never stayed in one place long enough for that image to register on the sensor. That's an interesting trick. If you want to go out and take pictures on a crowded street or someplace where there's a lot of people or a medium amount of people and you want them to go away, you can go take a long exposure, and as long as everyone on the street is moving, they'll disappear. A little bit of a magic trick. So basically, that's what shutter speed is. Those are the consequences. And of course, you must always balance between shutter speed, aperture, and the ISO that you set on your camera. All right, guys, that's pretty straightforward. Any questions? Feel free to send me a note. Put a comment underneath the video. Enjoy it. Go ahead and subscribe. Find me on Facebook, William Kearns Photography, Kearns. I'm happy to talk to you, answer questions, and be good, and see you around next time.
Shall we begin?